about to listen to the Dr. Dahlia Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Dahlia Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Dahlia.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dahlia, 1-877 DOCDALI. So it's holiday party time. Many of you might have had your holiday parties in the first of the month. Usually I do this segment, right after Thanksgiving. We got a little bit distracted with all the tragic news. Some of you guys have your holiday party coming up. Some of you have your midweek holiday party. And I always like to tell you the do's and don'ts because some of you make horrible mistakes during the office holiday parties. In fact, the office holiday party could be a huge reason why people get fired January 1st. So you do not want to make the following mistakes, and you do want to do some things that could be very advantageous during the holiday office party. So what's interesting about the holiday office party is where, you get free food and usually free alcohol. And so anytime I worked for a company that had one of these things, I was psyched. Because it's, free food and free alcohol. Well, when that happens, you start to get a little bit more relaxed. You get to, there might be a coworker you kind of like, and then you get a little flirty. And unfortunately, these things could turn really, really bad. So rule number one, never flirt with the boss. I know people think that's how they get where they need to go by flirting with the boss. And that boss might like it a little bit, but everybody around that boss doesn't. So if other people see you flirting with somebody and they're like, wait a second, that's how this person is advancing in this company? Oh, hell no. That could hurt you. Not to mention, oftentimes the boss's significant other is at the party. And that boss's significant other is going to that night say that person's gone. No flirting with the boss. Very unprofessional. Shouldn't, just absolute no. Don't go to a Coldplay concert with them. Nothing. Just no. Doesn't happen. Don't drink too much. I understand it's free alcohol. I understand you want to have fun. You want to loosen up, but you do stupid things when you drink too much. You do stupid things. You say stupid things. You just can't do that. I would always offer to my friend that I would, if he and his partner ever wanted to have a baby, I would surrogate the baby for them. And my husband would be like, why do you do that? You're not going to carry another baby. You're too old. I'm like, yeah, but I want them to have a baby. That's it. No more drinking. You're done. All right. Don't drive drunk. These office holiday parties, it's scary. Very, very scary. I was driving this weekend and you could see that there were people just, yay, we just have free alcohol. No. Do not drive drunk. Very, very bad. Don't let anybody tag you on social media. I know you're more loose and more relaxed when you're drinking, but if you're doing something dumb in the picture, now that's there for eternity. So don't let anybody tag you. Say, you know what, let's come up with a rule. No tagging. We could all maybe pose for one photo. But none of this where, I'm looking like I'm, chugging and chasing and whatever. So, no. I know some people like to strip and pole dance, right? Because they think they're sexy. You're not. Another thing to never do is don't skip the party. See, people go, I'm going to make an ass out of myself, so I'm just not going to go. No. If you skip the party, that doesn't really help in terms of the camaraderie thing. If the boss is having a Christmas party and putting that money and time, go. All right, don't skip it. Now, let's say you have another party to go to. Always go to your boss's one first. Now, I understand if your partner has a boss, so figure out which job you want to keep, but show up first. Once everybody's drinking and getting stupid, they won't know that you left. But never skip the party. That's bad. And don't worry, I wrote all these down, all right? Don't take the mic. This is my problem. There's a microphone. So I like to go behind the microphone. I like to sing. I like to talk. Do not take the mic until the boss takes the mic first. Let the boss take the mic. After that, if it's open mic or karaoke, then you could do that. Another thing, don't gossip. Don't be gossiping at work. Talking crap about coworkers, not good. Just be positive. Just spread holiday cheer. Go, I love you all. You guys are wonderful. Let's all start, from scratch. Let's all start fresh. And then don't tell off the office bully. So you might be like, you know what? I'm going to finally put this person in their place. There's the office bully. They're mean. They're rude. I'm going to don't do it. Don't, because you think everybody has your back and they don't. Because nobody is going to want to fight at the office holiday party because they're thinking of the other rules, going, my boss is watching me. Not a good idea. So do not tell the office bully off. Do not sleep with your coworkers. I understand that there might be somebody you have a crush on. And now that everybody's inhibitions are down, you're like, okay, now I can maybe, I could blame the alcohol and I could, no, please don't sleep with the coworker. That the sleeping with the coworker at an office party is one way to not only lose your job, but to completely mess up your career. Don't talk about work. Don't go up to the boss going, oh, can I have a raise? Or, I really like, can I, just because the boss is drinking, he's not going to remember that he gave you that raise. So don't be talking about work. Now, what can you do? You can tell your boss, you know what? I just want to say I really love my job. Thank you for giving me a job. Thank you for letting me be a part of your team. I love this team and I don't plan on going anywhere. I really like being here and thank you. Thank the boss. Also thank the party organizer. Whoever organized that party obviously has a boss's ear. And so whoever organized the party, thank him. Because most people that do stuff for the boss are unthanked, unappreciated. So find out who did that and say, this was really nice. This was really good. Thank you. Kiss up, but don't be overly kissy up. If you can sing, go ahead and sing after the boss goes to the mic. But if he's like, come on, guys, have fun, dance, whatever, get out there on the dance floor. If they think the party sucks, that's what I always do. If I think the party sucks and I see the anxiety of the party holder, I'll start getting out there and dancing, even though I can't dance. Like Elaine Bennis on Seinfeld. I don't dance like that, but I'm not really the best dancer, but I'll go out there and shake my booty, or I'll go up there and sing. I love going up there and singing. And then that kind of helps get the party started. But don't do that until the boss says, guys, let's kind of party now. Okay. Always tip the bartender. These bartenders are at your party working. They're not at home having fun. So make sure you tip the bartender and tip them good. And then have fun. Just have fun. And have a designated driver. 1-877 Doc Dolly. Don't go away. We are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Dahlia, Facebook, The Dr. Dahlia Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So, unfortunately, Trump kind of did it again in terms of going out there on social media and saying something that he should have never said. And in his reporting of Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle's murder, he brings up Trump derangement syndrome. And his post has drawn criticism from all sides. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because it shouldn't have happened. I think he should apologize to the Reiner family. They from what we understand, Rob and his wife Michelle were found in their beds with their throats slashed, multiple stab wounds by allegedly the son, who I think is going to be in court today. I think Nick Reiner. And so just a horrible, horrible double murder of two people, one extremely gifted in Hollywood, gifted producer, gifted actor. And what Trump had said, which is causing a lot of controversy, is he said a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle. And now it could have ended there, but then he goes, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He said he was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump. This is what Donald Trump wrote. With his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Okay, this was, that was, I mean, one of the most horrible posts. That honestly, that Trump shouldn't have gone there. You know, say rest in peace. Say, but, Trump had to kind of infuse in there that, it's a golden age. He's doing all these great things for America. I mean, we know that Rob Reiner, may he rest in peace, was not a fan of Trump. We know Rob Reiner had spoken out very publicly, and they were not friends. They were not at the least. And Rob Reiner was very much anti-Trump. But the man died. The man was murdered. If I was president, I would be like, look, I wish the family strength during this difficult time. It's a horrible, horrible tragedy. Bless their family, bless them. And I mean, you're the president. You're a human being, and so it was. I completely disagree with what he wrote. But this Trump derangement syndrome is getting ridiculous. And one thing that I think a lot of people are noticing, and we went through this with Obama, we went through this with Biden, we're going through this with Trump twice, where it's whatever he does is bad. Anything he does is just completely tainted. I mean, Biden, I don't blame a lot of the presidency because I don't think he was the one running it. Whoever was running that presidency is the one I blame. I also blame his wife and his family for not ensuring that he got proper medical care and resigned when he wasn't able to do the duties of office. So that's where my blame goes. But this Trump derangement syndrome is from my diagnosis is where something happens like Trump honors the little kid who overcame cancer, and the child wanted to be a deputy agent, a deputy I believe FBI agent or CIA, and then he does that. Very, very cool. All right, that's a cool thing. And no, people just still hate him. What you have somebody where no matter what he does, even if it's good, even if it's productive, they will find anything to criticize it. And what I'm seeing with Trump now, this is what I'm seeing, and this isn't a medical diagnosis, but what I am seeing is he's in a second term, and he feels like he put up with a lot. And in his defense, in terms of putting up with a lot, he's been shot at, he's been multiple facets has been trying to organize an assassination on him, beyond what was attempted in Florida and then what was attempted in Butler, Pennsylvania, what the media has done, what BBC News had done. I mean, Trump has been through a lot, and he comes back. And I understand he's upset, and he's do not project it on somebody who was just murdered, he and his wife. That's wrong. But, it's gotten really, really ridiculous where you can't say or do anything without there being when did politics get this serious? When did politics get this ingrained where I mean, people were celebrating that Trump was getting shot at? I mean, that's some disgusting stuff. People were celebrating Jews being murdered and raped and mutilated and babies thrown in ovens during the Hamas attack. I mean, people are celebrating death, destruction. It's disgusting. And so how I look at what Trump is going through is, this is his second term. This is his final term. And so he is going to, he's very, I think, upset that a lot of what he accomplished in the first term got wiped out. It got reversed, wall taken down, things rescinded, which is why he came into office and just rescinded, what Biden did. But it bothers him, and that's why he wants to name things, like the Trump account. He wants to make sure that anything he does will be a part of his legacy. And so, with these savings accounts for kids, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a fantastic idea, but they're going to be called the Trump accounts because he wants to make sure that goes on through time. That if somebody has that, then 18 years from now, whatever they remember, it was President Trump. So he wants to put longevity. I think that really, really hurt him. That what he accomplished, in terms of economy, whatever, after COVID, after a new president comes in, completely wiped out and erased. And then also media, the way the media and Google rewrote history of what happened. That probably really, really bothered him. So what he wants to do now is do a big, I think, like FU to his critics. He wants to show that, look, I don't care. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to do what I want. And I'm going to get stuff done. He's got to, though, be careful because if he doesn't want things erased or reversed, then the GOP is going to need to win the next election. And so if he starts making too many enemies or starts saying stupid stuff, and that's not going to help. And he's actually going to ruin his legacy. I said this before, Biden, he had given decades of service. But I even said when he was running for president, I'm like, look, if Biden takes over and he messes up, his legacy is going to be marred with the ineptness or incompetency or other issues of his final 4 years in office. He might want to rethink the presidency. Well, same thing with Trump. Trump has to be careful because if he wants a legacy, he can't be, saying stupid stuff. He can't be, you see what he's doing. He keeps infusing. He keeps saying, look, this is the golden age. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm doing. Why is he saying that? Because he's frustrated that the media is not covering it. He's trying to figure out how to get his message out. What is really ticking Trump off right now is people are saying that the economy is bad, that he didn't fix, the Biden mess and the COVID mess. Well, one, that does take time, but two, gas prices are going down. Egg prices went down, stock market's up. The economy's doing better, but no, the affordability of the houses and all that, there's still a long way to go. Cars are still expensive. Everything's still expensive because now wages are up. It's just, people are just charging an arm and a leg, and it's a mess. And so he doesn't want people to think that this is on him. So he keeps infusing, look at what we've done, look at what we've done, look at what we've done. And he's even expressed that frustration that people are not giving him credit for what they've done. Nobody's talking about it. And my advice to Trump is, listen, you're working, you get credit for working more than Biden got credit for securing the border. You get credit for what you're doing with healthcare. You have a lot of wins, but you're going to be ruining those wins if you let the media get to you. To hell with the media. And I understand the media can control what goes in Wikipedia and what goes, online. If you want people to remember what you're doing, you can't just keep saying, look at what I did, look at what I did. Right? And you can't do it in a presumed eulogy of two people who were double murdered. You can't, that's not how to do this. And so, if you want to show that, the economy is better and kids are doing better and the houses are doing it, then work towards that. But he's playing defense with the media and with public opinion and all that. And I think he's shooting himself in the foot. So I think he should apologize to the Reiner family. Very stupid tweet he did. And prayers to the Reiner family during this difficult time. 1-877 Doc Dolly. Hey guys, it's Dr. Dahlia. Fantasy football season is coming, but sadly, too many of you are taking the bench while the country takes part in one of the most exciting and lucrative industries out there. Don't know how to play? Well, huddle up and listen. Paul Kalikas and I have written a fantasy football pocket guide for beginners. This book walks you through the basics and shows you how simple and lucrative joining or creating a fantasy football team can be. Read our fantasy football pocket guide for beginners found on Amazon or follow the links on X and Facebook. That's Fantasy Football Pocket Guides for Beginners. Don't be left out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
Looking for a gift that can actually help secure someone's future? It's Mark Falter's new book, Common Sense Income Strategies. It makes the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using time-tested strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. To learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Secure your future with Common Sense Income Strategies by Mark Falter. Again, to learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So my favorite part of Christmas are looking at people's Christmas trees. And my neighborhood, sometimes you could actually see the Christmas tree without me like peering and violating the privacy and breaking and entering. I'm able to see some of these trees, and oh my gosh, some of these people have like 16-foot trees. I mean, these are just tall, gorgeous, and I'm noticing more and more people are doing the fake trees. I don't want to use the word fake because fake has a negative connotation to it, but artificial, like an artificial tree. And there's nothing like the real Christmas tree and the smell and the bristles and all that. But, for individuals to, not have to, especially those that don't want a tree cut down. And even though, the Christmas tree industry is a huge one, that's don't feel like you're doing a disservice, because those are trees purposely grown. And then it's bringing in more oxygen and all that. I want Christmas tree farms to thrive because I love plants. I love cultivation, horticulture. It improves our air. These plants are also very helpful for our air inside our homes. Some of them. There's other, which we're going to talk about. There's actually a condition called Christmas tree syndrome, which we have to talk about. But it was interesting because I was at a friend's house a couple years ago, and her tree was like 16 feet tall. And I go, how did you? Well, she's like, it's fake. And I go, but still, if you use it every year, where do you store it? And apparently it's like stacked on each other. I didn't know that. See, I'm a Jew. I don't get to do Christmas trees, but we're going to start now that my daughter-in-law's Catholic and all that. I'm going to be able to, because I celebrate Christmas anyway. We have Christmas lights. We have all that. We just don't have a tree because we have a big menorah. There's no room for a menorah and a tree. But now I'm going to be so now I'm studying how to do the Christmas tree and all that. And then I decorate my Christmas tree at Magical Forest and Opportunity Village. I love Opportunity Village, great charity helping people with intellectual disabilities and physical disabilities. And they have this Magical Forest where you get to decorate a tree. And I'm getting better at it. My very first tree, it was like, oh, come on, man, just stick with the menorah. But then I got really, really good at it. And so now I have this medical tree where I have like a heart. I have an EKG on it. I have all these little doctor bears, and I have little eye charts and x-rays and things like that. But I have like the tree skirt, and I love Christmas trees. I could do Christmas trees all day long. But interestingly, we're in the holiday season. So we got flu, COVID, colds. There's the Christmas coronary, which we'll talk about in a little bit, hypothermia, pneumonia. But now adding an additional one to the list is Christmas tree syndrome. So Christmas tree syndrome occurs when one feels ill when they are close proximity to their Christmas tree. Now, the average Christmas tree is spruce or fir. They should rarely be allergenic, but they can have pollen on them, insects, mites, things like that. And the pollen picked up by nearby plants or whatever blew onto them, or mold, that could be what you might be reacting to. Researchers from State University in New York analyzed the bark and needles of multiple Christmas trees, and they found multiple cases of mold with allergy-producing spores. And since the trees are from the wild, a really good, authentic Christmas tree, right, was out there in a, well, you can't just take it from now a forest because of all the laws, and understandably so, but still, it's a farm. They're homes to thousands of little critters like aphids, mites, bark beetles, even spiders. Now, I don't mind. I hate spiders because I was bit by a spider and the infection almost took off the leg. I mean, it was a bad one. But I'll still have a Christmas tree. If I know there's a spider on there, you know what? Let the spider have its home. Don't bug me. I don't think it'll bug me. So we've been living with Christmas trees each season harmoniously and symbiotically. No problem. Even if the little crittery inhabitants are there. We don't get attacked, but you could still get symptoms. So what are symptoms of Christmas tree syndrome? Well, you could get wheezing, cough, chest pain, fatigue, rash, watery eyes, nasal itching, scratchy throat, even difficulty sleeping. Now, somebody could say, well, that could be COVID. That could be. It could be an asthma exacerbation. But for some people, it could actually be the tree and what's on the tree. Now, for those of you with the artificial trees, they could get dusty. So you still might want to kind of clean them off before you spread it out and open it and put the things on there. I mean, I don't necessarily wash off every ornament, but I do, like my teddy bears and things like that I have on the tree at Magical Forest and stuff. I wash them every year. I wash the tree skirt. I try to clean off all the ornaments just because I think they get kind of a little dirty, but those are things that need to be done. The problem is when you do clean them, sometimes that could spur your breathing it in. Mold and pollen are notorious for being the biggest culprits, causing these types of respiratory symptoms as it is, let alone what could be on the tree. So how do you reduce your risk of Christmas tree syndrome? So one thing that experts are recommending is to hose down your tree and let it dry before bringing it back into the house. Now, if it's already decorated, this is hard to do. But before, you set it all up, if you guys think that's what's going on, hosing it down, drying it off, that could probably clean up a lot of that. You could also have an air purifier in the same room as your tree. I know this kind of is like, gosh, man, I'm really ruining the holidays with this. But listen, for those of you that can't be around the tree, that ruins the holidays. Or if you go over to somebody's house that, has mold and pollen and stuff on their tree, I don't want you getting allergies. So something to be aware of. Avoid extended stays of the tree. So let's say you are allergic to your tree. Now, I like to start decorating for Christmas on Veterans Day. And I know that seems early, but I want the decorations to be there for Thanksgiving. So I start decorating early because I like to, have as much of the holiday season as much as possible. And then I take off the decorations before Super Bowl, unless the Homeowners Association starts fining me. But for those of you that are allergic, you might want to just put up the tree closer to the holiday and take it down as soon as Christmas ends. If you do suffer from allergies or asthma, or you're vulnerable to Christmas tree syndrome, you might want to delegate the tree decorating or getting the presents around the tree or grabbing the presents to somebody else in the family, maybe an in-law, whatever. Some people have their gorgeous Christmas tree outside of the house. Now, for those of you with inclement weather, that doesn't really, that's not very practical. But if you are allergic to a Christmas tree and your family wants a Christmas tree, you can have the Christmas tree outside the house, or like in a porch area or something like that. I know it's not the same, but, if you have an area that you think is secure because somebody's going to steal the presents, you could always do that. It's ridiculous that something like this has to be said, but apparently it's a bigger deal than we thought. There's many people that don't react well to their Christmas tree. It's interesting. I've always told my husband, don't bring me flowers. I'm not a big flower person. One, they're expensive, so I don't want to spend a lot of money on something that's going to die in a few days. But I didn't realize I could be allergic to some of these. The springtime is my worst season. I cannot stand the spring. You would think the spring is the happiest time of the year. No, for me, it's Christmas. This time of year, I am the happiest. So I love fall and Christmas more. But one of the reasons why is with spring, it's just my allergies are so bad. I mean, I'm just always sneezing, and we're going to be talking about allergies in the coming months. But I always have to get a shot of a steroid, a Kenalog shot to calm it down. Otherwise, I cannot function. My allergies are that bad, and it's like really, And so I appreciate what people are going through. If they're struggling, with allergies. But Christmas trees are a lot of fun. Some people, they're nervous that they don't have, enough to decorate the tree. I like looking at these pictures from the 1920s of people's old Christmas trees and how they decorated them with like popcorn and garlands and things like that. Nowadays we have lights, and I have a Disney little castle ornament. See, what I would do is I would want to have multiple trees, like one like a Disney tree that has all the castles and fairies and things like that, and a lot of sparklies. And then I would do like a medical tree because I'm just a dork. I'm sorry, I'm a medical geek, something like that. I think a SpongeBob SquarePants tree would be good. I love Nemo and Little Mermaid. I love water themes, so I would do a tree that has a lot of aqua and fuchsia and sparkly starfish and things like that. I would do an under the sea. I would do like an under the sea Christmas tree. That's what I would do. Yeah. And I don't think you're allergic to starfish. 1-877 Doc Dolly, don't go away. We are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Doc Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. So it's for me, favorite time of year. For a lot of other people, they're not doing so well. I've gotten a lot of calls from patients who are struggling. And depression, it's interesting. We've really evolved and progressed as it pertains to identifying depression and destigmatizing it. And, we always thought depression is, well, somebody's just crying and they're sad all the time. And we've kind of learned that depression could manifest in a whole variety of ways. Somebody not wanting to clean the house and just wanting to play a game, or just being unmotivated and just not taking care of themselves. That could be a form of depression. Somebody not sleeping well. Somebody making bad choices, whether it's with the drugs or, sleeping with the wrong person, or, and so we're learning that, if we don't recognize signs of depression and we're waiting for somebody to be sitting there and crying, we could be too late. One of the issues we've been having with the high suicide rates is we don't recognize depression in our loved ones. And men are more likely to, sadly, be successful in executing a suicide attempt. Women more often attempt it. And we think that, one of the issues is men might not be as demonstrative, and people might not be picking up a lot of the signs of depression in men. And so we need to learn how to do that sooner. And we also need to continue the great progress we've been doing, in such as pharmaceutical companies like Johnson & Johnson with Caplyta, in terms of treating depression. So I'm really, really excited for our next guest, Amy Belknap, APRN, nurse practitioner, board-certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner who is here to talk to us about major depressive disorder that sadly affects with at least 22 million Americans. Amy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me today. Such an important topic, such timely topic with the darker days and the shorter days and the holiday expectations. So thank you so much for having us on today.
Oh, awesome. No, I'm just so glad you're here. So talk to us about the signs and symptoms of depression that you're seeing.
So first of all, I have to express my gratitude to Johnson & Johnson for being able to work with them and get this information out. I heard just a little bit of what you were saying before, that not everybody presents the same, and that's absolutely true. Major depressive disorder is a highly complex condition. Not everybody experiences it the same, and what treatment works for one might not necessarily work for another. And so if you look at the numbers that you brought up, which is 22 million adults in the U.S. struggle with major depressive disorder, that's a lot. It's the most common psychiatric condition that we have. It affects the way people think, feel, act. It's the way they perceive the world around them. It can be devastating to them, their families, but also to the communities in the country, because it has a tremendous economic impact, and it's actually the number one cause of disability in the United States.
Absolutely. And, we've really evolved as it pertains to treatments. Talk to us about some of these treatments that are currently available.
But we really have, and it goes back to that one-size-fits-all doesn't work. It's not a quick cookie-cutter condition. It's very complex. It affects multiple areas of the brain. It can be affected by lots of variables, such as environment, genetics, and nutrition, and all different sorts of variables. And so while the standard of care is to start with an oral antidepressant, and this does work for some people, but 2 out of 3 people tell us that they still have residual or breakthrough depression symptoms. They still have these episodes when they struggle to enjoy life and to participate in things that they used to participate in. And that's why it is so important that we continue to research and study and learn and come up with new and differentiated treatments to address these breakthrough symptoms. And one of the things that we've come up with is adjunct treatment, adding a treatment to a current treatment that together, the combination, bolsters the effectiveness or improves the effectiveness over the single medication by itself. And that's where Caplyta plays a role and comes in, is in the adjunct treatment with an oral antidepressant for adults with major depressive disorder.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's been recently approved. Talk to us about what that means now in terms of patients and accessibility.
So Caplyta was approved in 2019 initially for schizophrenia and then in the bipolar spectrum. And it just recently was approved for major depressive disorder, again, adjunct to an oral antidepressant in adults with major depressive disorder. And it really offers a reset to really how we think about treatment options. Because, again, not that cookie cutter. It doesn't exist. And so it comes at it, from a little bit different perspective, a little different angle, giving us a little bit different effect, and so giving the opportunity to have an even better outcome.
Absolutely. So, when we have a loved one, a friend or family member, and, we're speaking to Amy Belknap, board certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. It's not easy, especially family is some of the hardest because they're like, I'm fine. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. What suggestions do you have in terms of, helping loved ones that may be struggling right now?
I so appreciate those words that you're saying, because when you notice that your loved one is not participating in things they used to participate in, they're not enjoying things they used to enjoy, maybe they're avoiding social engagements that they formerly would have had a good time at. Things like this, that you're starting to see these changes, have that difficult conversation. Ask them, say, this is what I'm seeing, and I want to help. If 22 million adults have this condition, they're not alone. They're not unique. And they feel that way. They feel like they're alone. They feel like no one else understands how they feel. And so if you come at it with either a figurative or a literal arm around the shoulder and say, let me help you. And maybe that means call the primary care, because that's the key. You've got to get involved with your healthcare provider. They're the expert in you. And so they can take your set of symptoms, your medical conditions, other medications you might be taking. They combine all of that and help create a treatment plan with you that is something that not only can help you, but is something that you can physically do, that you have the energy to do and to make a difference. And they can talk to you about, these are some of the benefits and some of the potential side effects, like sedation and somnolence and dry mouth and dizziness. And so they can combine that whole idea of trying to help you find the right treatment. And by you bringing your loved one with them, you're providing that support and saying, I'm here with you. You're not alone.
Exactly. And, a lot of people, they think of the older medications, that would cause them weight gain and other things. We've gotten so good with these newer medications and that, sit down with the medical provider because they could kind of calm your fears. 1990 type, data, doesn't necessarily apply now. And so there's a lot of newer things. And so Caplite, I'm really excited about. I've seen amazing success with it. Amy, where can my listeners go for more information?
Caplyta.com, CAPLYTA.com is an excellent resource. I found it very helpful. And I so appreciate what you said about how the 1990 treatments are not the 2025 treatments. There is a huge difference. And what we used to think were side effects we had to put up with to feel better, we don't have to do that anymore. They're different. And so if you've had a negative experience, that doesn't mean you can't have a positive experience with a new one. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
No worries. Amy, you are a godsend. One more time, the website for my listeners?
Caplyta.com.
Awesome. You have a wonderful holiday season, and God bless you, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. May you have a merry holiday season as well.
Awesome. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Listen, I've had family members that have had, depression, anxiety, and it's not easy. I know we say, well, get your family member checked out and all that. And they're like, oh, leave me alone, leave me alone. I mean, my father, is like, leave me alone, little girl, leave me alone. Yeah, and it's frustrating. But sometimes say, you know what, will you come to the doctor with me? Sometimes that's kind of a good way to at least get them in the room. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY. Don't go away.
Hey guys, it's Clyde. We've had a lot of requests for Ground Zero merchandise, so we put together an online store with a big variety of high-quality items. I'm really excited to let you know about these things. We have a lot to offer you and your loved ones. In addition to our regular apparel, such as t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and hats, we've expanded our product line with posters, flags, aprons, mugs, and a whole lot more. We also have Ground Zero collectibles along with a limited edition of items like a Clyde Lewis canvas portrait, a Ground Zero embroidered jacket that will certainly make for great gifts and for interesting conversations with family and friends. And we now offer publications such as Ron Patton's book about mind control, MK Zine, and back copies of the official magazine of Ground Zero while it was in print. Paranoia, the Conspiracy Reader, also coming in 2023, are updated and revised books that I've written. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. So shop today at our official store by going to groundzeromerch.com. Again, that's groundzeromerch.com.
Hey, America. How tired are you of mainstream corporate media and manipulated news? Their dishonesty and attempts to influence this generation have been exposed, put on display for anyone who's even half paying attention. But the New American Magazine has been an honest source of news and commentary for over 50 years. This is your opportunity to receive the stalwart of principled journalism at a deep discount. Picture a beautifully published magazine arriving at your doorstep twice a month, packed with insightful stories written with integrity. It's also available digitally on the New American's mobile app. Get up to speed with intelligent coverage from a freedom perspective. Right now, for a limited time, the New American is available to radio listeners at a 25% discount on a new subscription. Visit thenewamerican.com/radio25 and receive 25% off. Subscribe today at thenewamerican.com/radio25.
Looking for an easy read that can actually help secure someone's future? Pick up a copy of Mark Falter's book, Common Sense Income Strategies. For the past 30-plus years, Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. It's not rocket science, it's a pretty easy read. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. Common Sense Income Strategies is available now on Amazon or by calling 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Common Sense Income Strategies by Financial Fitness Show host Mark Falter. Secure your financial future today.